Two fires, one in the past, one burning today. In August 2023, Maui endured one of the deadliest fires in U.S. history, decimating the historic town of Lahaina. Today, Los Angeles battles its infernos, threatening lives, homes, and communities. Despite their distance in time and geography, the similarities between these fires are striking and troubling. Tonight, we break down the issues that connect these disasters and ask, is this sheer negligence, or is something far more calculated at play?
Interfaces between LA County Fire and people, and they assist them where they can during, before, and after the blaze. And apparently the residents in Corral Canyon caught an arsonist up there. And the guy was all tooled up with fire gear and equipment and stuff like that, and ready to go, and he had been lighting fires. But they
Water shortages in Maui and Los Angeles. Water shortages left firefighters helpless as flames consumed neighborhoods. In Maui, critical delays in water access compounded the devastation.
My God! Oh my gosh, look at the harbor.
Officials later admitted water had been withheld to prioritize agricultural concerns. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, years of water mismanagement and privatization have left communities at the mercy of crumbling infrastructure.
Well, you know, I know they were messing with the water, letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose? Which, it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder.
Power failures. Power failures played a critical role in both disasters. In Maui, strong winds brought down aging power lines, sparking the fire that destroyed Lahaina.
Kaulana Anderson, a foreman for the Hawaiian Electric Company, was on the ground trying to deal with the situation.
Our day started off, we had some poles that was falling over. So we had to come down here and try and secure them because there was rocking in the wind. And as we got those poles secured, we got another call up by Lahaina Luna School that another pole came down.
It ignited.
In Los Angeles, rolling blackouts during high fire danger left communities vulnerable and emergency crews struggling to respond effectively. These failures aren't new. Maui and California have faced years of warnings about outdated grids and insufficient investment. Yet, the question remains, why were these issues ignored?
Many people reported they didn't get warnings on their cell phones. It burned through hundreds of acres of land. Luckily, that time nobody died, but there was a community uproar after that.
I lost everything.
We had everything up ourselves.
I almost lost my son.
You're falling asleep on the job and you have abandoned us.
At a community meeting, residents confronted Maui officials over concerns that the county was unprepared for a major wildfire.
Where are we going to evacuate to?
Why did our civil defense siren system fail us?
Network wires were shut down. Those wires were ripping up.
Your emergency management, why are we managing the emergency?
The concerns about losing the highway, absolutely right on. That highway would be gone. Lahaina Harbor would be gone.
Communication breakdowns. Perhaps the most critical similarity between the two fires is the breakdown in communication. In Maui, emergency sirens, designed to alert residents of imminent danger, never sounded. The disjointed coordination between departments left families unaware of the rapidly advancing flames.
Across the island, officials at the Emergency Operations Center would take a step that would be highly scrutinized later. MEMA, Maui's emergency management agency, did not sound the island's network of sirens, and instead issued a text alert at the height of the fire that few people got.
The Maui Emergency Management Agency had the ability and authority to activate emergency sirens if they felt that was the right thing to do. Unfortunately, they didn't in this case, and many people didn't get a warning about this fire until they saw the smoke coming towards them.
In Los Angeles, unclear evacuation orders and disrupted cell service created chaos for residents fleeing active fires. The lack of a unified response in both disasters turned an already dire situation into an even greater tragedy. Prime real estate targeted. The fires didn't just destroy homes, they obliterated some of the most valuable real estate in the country. In Maui, Lahaina's historic coastline, a symbol of cultural heritage, was reduced to rubble. In Los Angeles, Malibu's celebrity enclaves and Pacific Palisades are now unrecognizable. Critics argue that these disasters align too perfectly with redevelopment agendas. Could these fires be clearing the way for corporate interests under the guise of rebuilding? High-value real estate destroyed in both Maui and Los Angeles mirrors plans for high-density housing and luxury projects that may not benefit the displaced residents. This raises a larger question. Are these disasters being exploited or even facilitated for economic and political gain? Neglected infrastructure, reduced firefighting resources, and policy missteps have created the perfect storm for chaos. Could this be part of a deliberate agenda to consolidate power and reshape communities for corporate and political benefit? These patterns evoke unsettling comparisons to the Cloward-Piven strategy, which theorizes that overloading systems and creating dependence pave the way for transformation. Reports of arson. In Malibu, a man caught with fire-starting tools and accelerants was handed over to authorities, but no charges were filed. In Maui, eyewitnesses reported suspicious activity near fire-prone zones before the flames erupted, fueling doubts about whether these fires were entirely natural. The precision and speed of these fires raise unsettling questions. Experts note the perfect storm of high winds, dry terrain, and rapid escalation. Could deliberate actions have ensured maximum devastation? Both Maui and Los Angeles have histories of arson during wildfire seasons, but these recent events stand out for their devastating precision and scale. Were these disasters mere coincidences or part of a calculated plan? Insurance policy cancellations, as if the insurance companies had a crystal ball to see into the future. Months before the fires, thousands of homeowners in both Maui and Los Angeles faced a harsh reality. Their fire insurance policies were canceled or significantly reduced. Companies cited increased wildfire risks, leaving residents financially exposed at the moment they would need protection the most. We couldn't renew our policy. They said it was too risky. Now we've lost everything, and rebuilding feels impossible without going into debt or selling the land. This wasn't an isolated incident. As coverage options disappeared, families were left with no financial safety net. Critics argue that this wasn't just about reducing corporate risk, it paved the way for undervalued land to fall into the hands of developers, often leaving displaced residents behind. The result? Prime real estate in both Maui and Los Angeles is now vulnerable to corporate interests, with redevelopment plans favoring luxury housing over rebuilding for the original residents. These insurance cancellations have amplified the devastation, raising critical questions. Were these decisions about risk or opportunity?
Is FEMA going to be there? By the way, one of the things that is almost most criminal in all of this, I don't know if you know this, but 70% or so of the insured in Southern California that used to have fire insurance in their home months ago, this insurance was taken away. The insurance company said, no, we're not going to offer fire insurance anymore. What else? Do they need? They don't need flood insurance. They need fire insurance. This is a fire hazard. Of course, that's the insurance that they need and that they want. And just months ago, this was stripped from people. Like this is not okay. It is not okay in any way, shape, or form.
Cell phone service failures. In both Maui and Los Angeles, cell phone service failed at the worst possible time. In Maui, as the fire swept through Lahaina, residents couldn't call for help or receive evacuation alerts, leaving many to flee blindly into danger.
And there's a fire, like close to us. Are we supposed to get evacuated?
If you feel unsafe, listen to yourself and evacuate. Okay?
I can't, though. I don't have a car.
I understand, but every available unit is fighting that brush fire. Is there a resident manager or somebody you can talk to if it gets worse there?
They couldn't figure out if they should stay and shelter in place or run, because you couldn't really see the flames until it was like literally coming over the, the building. And unless they got in the car with somebody else who I'd already talked to, they wouldn't have made it out.
The lady at the end is 98 years old.
Is she home?
I don't know. It's too windy to go outside.
In Los Angeles, power outages disrupted communications, isolating families and hindering emergency response efforts. These failures expose a critical vulnerability in disaster response. When communication lines collapse, lives are lost, and chaos intensifies. Strengthening these systems must become a priority to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Rebuilding and accountability. The fires of Maui and Los Angeles raise questions that cannot be ignored. Were these tragedies preventable? Who benefits from the devastation? And what can we do to demand accountability? If you found this investigation insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your engagement helps bring awareness to stories that matter and might even spark the change we all need. Hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest news and financial stories.